Ladies and gentlemen, Shalom Aleichem. We meet again towards Parshat Vayishlach, and we have Yaakov coming back from 20 years in the house of Lavan. He's coming with all his children, and his 4 wives, and he is being confronted with a meeting with Esau. And Esau, his brother, is coming towards him with 400 soldiers. And what is his response? He is terrified. He is terrified. And many of the different Perushim bring up the same question. In last week's Parsha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises Yaakov twice, I will protect you. In the beginning of the Parsha, it says, V'hinei anochi imach, I will be with you, u'shmaticha b'chol asher telech, I will protect you with everywhere you step. And I'll bring you back to this land. In addition, at the end of the Parsha, Hashem again speaks to Yaakov and says to him, I will be with you. So if HaKadosh Baruch Hu has promised you twice, he's going to be with you. Why is he so frightened? What is going on here? So we have to understand this on a few levels. First, on the emotional level. Rashi explains to us that when it says Vayira Yaakov me'od vayetzelo, so there are two. Vayira means he was frightened, and vayetza means he was sorry. So what is the difference between being frightened and being sorry? Explains Rashi, he was frightened to lose the battle against Esau and be wiped out, and he was sorry that he might win the battle and kill his own brother. Ladies and gentlemen, we many times have situations we don't want to win, we don't want to lose. Both options are no good. What do? It's very frustrating, and therefore he was so frightened because both options seemed terrible. So that is stage one, the emotional situation. But this emotional situation brings about a practical solution. And he does 3 things, and that's what Rashi again points out to us. He prepares himself for 3 options. Option number 1, which would be his best option as far as he's concerned, and that's why it is the first option, is a peaceful solution. Doron, he'll give him presents, he'll appease him, and they'll come to a friendly arrangement. The second one is tefillah, to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to create some kind of situation that this will pass peacefully. And the third one, he has to prepare for a war. He has to prepare his children to fight and to flee and to really prepare for battle. And he prepares for all the 3. And this is on a practical level. Baalei Musa take this in an interesting direction and say, who is Esau? Esau is the man who wants everything now, and he's lustful and he's envious, and he wants and he goes according to his desires and his honor. He feels he was insulted by Yaakov who took the blessing. He goes by all these negative feelings, and these negative feelings can be summed up by the Mishnah in Pikavos, Perik Daled, Mishnah Kaf Aleph. Rabbi Elazar Kabah says, Hakina v'atava v'akavod motzi'im et ha'adam min ha'olam. Hakina is envy, jealousy. Ta'ava is being lustful, and kavod is searching for your honor and protecting your honor and have a desire for honor. And these 3 things actually, motzi'im et ha'adam min ha'olam, a person can waste his whole life just running after these 3 things. And all these 3 things are negative bugs that are planted in each. We all have a bit of an Esau inside us. And we all have to be careful. We have to be careful to fight all these 3. How do we fight all these 3? So if you find yourself envious, which means you want something from somebody else, so the opposite is doron, to appease him, to give something. If you're in a giving mode, that is the solution for being envious. Envious is you want to take something. So the solution is to give. And the second issue is being lustful, and tava. And the solution to that is tefillah. We have to daven. We have to daven to overcome our own lustfulness. And then the third one is honor. The desire for honor. What is the solution for desire of honor? We have to fight that. And going out into battle and fighting is quite. It makes you feel very small. You feel very. The big honorable people, they don't go out to battle. They send the soldiers ahead. But actually going out to battle, it makes you feel very, very basic and very, very simple. And you have to give up a lot of your honor. You live in the field and you eat the field. It's a very difficult and a very low level of life. So that is Baalei Musa. But I'd like to end with Akedat Yitzchak, Rabbi Yitzchak Arama, who lived during the Spanish Inquisition. He started his life in the north of Spain, and because of the Spanish Inquisition, ended up over 500 years ago in Napoli in Italy, and was a great rabbi there. And he wrote his Perush Akedat Yitzchak. He says, this is a message for generations. And this message of values for generations is we cannot sit stuck in neutral. We cannot sit in front of a difficult situation and just daven and just say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to help us. We have to be proactive. And proactive means planning. And planning means you have to plan a peaceful solution, and you have to plan fighting, and you have to plan to daven. And all these three, these are not mutually exclusive. You have to do all these three once you are in a situation which is so complex. And that is our situation here in Israel nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, we are in a complex situation with all our enemies around us. And we're trying simultaneously to do all these three. We're trying, on the one hand, to come to a peaceful agreement and settlement with our enemies, and on the other hand, we daven. And I don't think there's any religion in the world that mentions shalom and mentions about peace and prays for peace as much as we do. And the third one is we've got an army. It's called the Israel Defense Force, because we just want to defend. This is not our first option, not our second option. It's our third option. It's only after we exhaust the first two and we prepare, we try a peaceful arrangement, and we daven. We have no choice, so we go out to war, even beyond the borders of the land of Israel. As we know, in Tebbe in 1976, I was 15 years old. I remember how proud we all were that Jewish lives matter. Not like last week we commemorated 83 years for Kristallnacht, the night between the 9th and the 10th of November 1938, which was terrible. There was no way we could defend ourselves. That's not the situation today. Today, Baruch Hashem, we have the IDF. We can defend ourselves, but it is not the first or the second option. It is the third option. That's what the Akedat Yitzchak already tell us over 500 years ago. That shall be that we should have to prepare. We have to do the work. We have to not sit idle. We have to do hishtadlut. We have to, when we're ill, we don't just pray for being well. We actually go to a doctor. When we need finances, we don't just pray for finances. We actually go to work. So in the same way, we're confronted with situations. We have to respond to them and do our hishtadlut on all these three levels. Shabbat Shalom.